Welcome to our Network Marketing Success Series. I'm Scott. Today we're going to address something that's critical but often overlooked, and that's an element of the long-term success built. It's building and maintaining a powerful team culture. So recruiting sales techniques, they always get most of the attention, but the truth is that in network marketing, if you want to sustain your success, it depends on creating a team culture that's going to inspire, retain, and multiply your organization's effectiveness. Top network marketing professionals like Eric Worre, Sarah Robbins, Fraser Brooks, they emphasize that team culture, it's not a soft skill. It's a business critical foundation that directly impacts the bottom line in your organizational growth. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a systematic framework for building a distinctive team culture that reduces attrition, it increases productivity, and it actually creates the momentum necessary for explosive growth. So let's get started. Before diving into specific strategies, let's examine why team culture is a mission-critical element of your business, okay? First, network marketing has an inherent challenge, right? It's built with independent distributors and they can leave at any time. Without a strong cultural bond, your organization remains vulnerable to competitor recruitment and natural attrition. Secondly, research shows that culture directly impacts key performance metrics. Teams with strong cultural alignment, they experience 65% lower turnover. Culturally aligned teams show 33% higher productivity, and strong cultures report 27% higher profitability. Now third, in the absence of a deliberate culture, a default culture will emerge, and often that will undermine your business objectives rather than support them. And finally, fourth, as your organization grows beyond your direct influence, culture becomes the invisible hand guiding decisions and behaviors throughout your network for both you and your downline. It's primarily the differentiator between flash-in-the-pan teams and organizations that create lasting residual income, which is what we're all after. Products, compensation plans, they can all be duplicated, but culture cannot. So, to systematically build your team culture, we're going to use the culture pyramid framework, which is a proven model for creating cultural alignment in network marketing organizations. It consists of 5 levels, all building upon the previous, okay? Level 1, core values, the foundation. Level 2, vision and mission. Level 3, behavioral standards. Level 4, recognition systems. And level 5, symbolic actions, okay? Each level has a distinct role in creating cultural coherence, so let's go ahead and look at them individually. Core values form the foundation of your team culture. These aren't aspirational statements, but they're actually the non-negotiable principles that define your organization's identity. Effective network marketing teams, they will emphasize 3 to 5 core values. Now, examples of these include integrity in all communications and business practices, belief in personal growth and development, commitment to servant leadership, so important, celebration of achievement at all levels, and community impact beyond financial success. These are examples. So when defining your core values, follow these guidelines, okay? First, make them authentic, all right? Not what you think they should be, but what truly matters to you and your top team leaders. Second, make them actionable. Each value should translate into specific behaviors. Third, make them memorable. Use simple, clear language without industry jargon. Fourth, make them distinctive. Identify what makes your team's approach fundamentally different from the others. Now, to implement these core values effectively, you want to document them clearly. Explain the why behind each value and share personal growth stories or personal stories that are examples of each value. You want to refer to them consistently in team communications. Remember, if you cannot immediately identify your team's core values, then your team members can't either, okay? It's very, very important. Now, level 2 is your vision and mission. So building on your core values, your vision and mission, what they do is they provide directional clarity to your organization. Your vision statement answers, what future are we creating together? Your mission statement answers, what are we doing daily to achieve that vision? Effective network marketing visions, they go past financial targets, and they include, the lives being transformed through your business, the impact you're making in your communities, the legacy that you are building together, the problems that you're solving through your products and through your opportunity, okay? Your vision should be ambitious enough to inspire people, should be very, very specific enough to guide decision making, should be inclusive of personal and collective achievement, and it should be emotionally compelling to diverse audiences. So to implement your vision effectively, you want to create a concise, powerful vision statement. Less than 50 words, okay? Develop visual representations of the vision. Begin team meetings by reinforcing the vision. Connect individual goals to that collective vision, okay? And regularly share stories of the vision being realized. A powerful mission statement is going to translate this vision into daily action. It should articulate who you serve, what you provide them, how you deliver unique value, and why your approach matters. Remember, vision without execution is really just hallucination, okay? Your mission provides the practical bridge between aspiration and actual achievement. Now, level 3 of the pyramid is behavioral standards, okay? It translates values and vision into specific behavioral expectations. These standards answer the questions, how do we operate as a team? Behavioral standards, they will typically cover 5 critical areas. Communication protocols, how team members interact with each other, whether it's in a group, whether it's through Zoom calls, whatever. Appropriate communication channels for different situations. Response time expectations. Constructive feedback methods, conflict resolution processes, all right? Now, secondly is performance expectations, activity standards for different rank levels, accountability structures, personal development commitments, leadership responsibilities at each advancement stage. And then third, meeting and event standards, and that could be in-person meetings or Zoom calls, but attendance expectations, preparation requirements, participation guidelines, professional presentation standards, and follow-up procedures, okay? Fourth is mentorship systems, so important. Structured mentoring relationships, knowledge transfer processes, skill development pathways, cross-team collaboration guidelines, okay? You also want to identify your customer experience standards, customer interaction guidelines, product knowledge requirements, service level expectations, follow-up systems, long-term relationship management. So to implement these behavioral standards, what you want to do is you want to document them clearly in a team manual, okay? You want to train your new members immediately. This could be as simple as sending them a document. You want to address violations consistently. You want to review and refine these quarterly and recognize and celebrate, adherence to the rules. Remember, culture is not defined by what you say is important, but by what you consistently reinforce through your actions and attention. Now, level 4 is recognition, okay? It's systematic recognition that it's going to reinforce your values, your vision, your behavioral standards. Now, this is not just motivational, it's instructional. Your team learns what truly matters by observing what gets recognized and what gets rewarded. So effective network marketing recognition systems include, obviously, rank advancement celebrations. It could be as simple as a post in your Facebook group. Sales milestone acknowledgements. Again, same thing. Team building accomplishments, customer acquisition victories, retention success strategies. These are all examples of things you can do. You also want to, value exemplification awards. You want to have a great mentorship excellence recognition, personal development commitments, community impact acknowledgements, team support contributions. Then finally, you want to recognize things like most improved performance, breakthrough moments, challenges that people have overcome, persistence over obstacles, learning from setbacks. These are all things that might seem small and might go unrecognized in a lot of different things, but they can make huge difference in your team building, okay? You want to have a balance between private and public recognition, okay? You want to recognize progress, not just outcomes, and you want to encourage peer-to-peer recognition, okay? I see this all the time in different Facebook groups. So you want to name a specific achievement or behavior, connect it to team values or your vision, explain the impact it creates, express genuine appreciation, has to be real, and inspire others to similar action. Remember, what gets recognized gets repeated. Your recognition systems are among your most powerful cultural reinforcement tools. That leads us to level 5, which is symbolic actions. It's the final level of the cultural pyramid, and that involves symbolic actions that actually embody and reinforce your team culture. They create emotional connections and cultural memory within your organization. Like team rituals, okay? Meeting opening and closing ceremonies, achievement celebrations, welcome traditions for new members, advancement rites of passage, annual renewal experiences. Second, they include shared language, team-specific terminology or motivational catchphrases, inside references that build belonging, and shorthand stories that carry cultural lessons. You could have a team logo with branded materials. You could have consistent aesthetics in your communications, physical symbols of belonging and achievement. And origin stories are huge. Founding narratives, milestone memories from the founders, from you, challenge and triumphs, legacy experiences, okay? You want to have recognized actions by top leaders, consistency between messaging and modeling, okay? What you say versus what you do. Public commitment to team values. If you implement these correctly and effectively, you want to design them deliberately, you want to explain their significance, you want to engage emotional connection and maintain consistency in the execution. And then evolve them thoughtfully as the team grows, okay? These things are subject to some change, all right? They're very, very powerful because they communicate on multiple levels simultaneously. Rational, emotional, identity-based, all right? Now that we've kind of explored each level, let's go ahead and just discuss shortly the implementation across your organization. First, you want to start with assessment. Evaluate your cultural strengths and weaknesses. Identify disconnects between stated and actual culture. Gather feedback from team members at different levels. And benchmark against successful organizations in the industry. Then, secondly, you can prioritize sequential development. Begin with clarifying core values. You want to progress methodically through each level. Avoid trying to change everything at once. It can be so overwhelming. Focus on excellence at each level before advancing. Third, engage leadership alignment. Every team has leaders that kind of rise to the top. Ensure top leaders are fully committed, okay? Create cultural champion roles. Train on cultural reinforcement techniques. Model consistent cultural behaviors. Fourth is systemize cultural onboarding. You want to introduce this culture from the very, very first contact. You want to develop specific cultural training components. You want to assign cultural mentors, to new members. Create early cultural wins and experiences. Fifth, establish some kind of measurement. You want to define health indicators, track alignment metrics, gather regular feedback, correlate cultural strengths with your business outcomes. So to support that implementation, I've created actually a comprehensive team culture blueprint with templates, assessment tools, implementation guides. You can download it free using the link in the description, so go ahead and click on that, okay? But, building culture, it can be very challenging and daunting, and maintaining it through rapid growth is even more difficult. So let's address some common challenges and solutions, okay? First challenge is as teams grow, core messages can become distorted or diluted. So you want to create a cultural reinforcement system that increases touch points during growth phases, all right? The second challenge is subcultural development. Different team segments may develop competing cultures. So you want to implement cross-team initiatives and unified leadership councils, okay? Then leadership inconsistency is a problem too. You want to make sure every leader in your organization is consistent with staying with that culture. You want to establish regular realignment sessions with your leaders and accountability systems too. Challenge number 4 is external pressures. There's market changes. Competition can strain cultural commitments. You want to create cultural stress tests and contingency planning for when this happens. Challenge 5 is generational evolution. So new members bring different values and different expectations. So you want to distinguish between cultural fundamentals and adaptable practices. The key to maintaining the your cultural growth is having regular cultural reinforcement across all your channels, having systematic cultural training at each organizational level, and having immediate addressing of cultural misalignment. So remember, culture requires constant tending. It's not a one-time creation, but it's an ongoing commitment to organizational identity and excellence. Now, this might all seem like it's something that you don't need to do. And maybe when you're a team of 3, you don't need to build something out that's so specific. But it's something that you definitely want to keep in mind as your team grows. Your products may be excellent, your compensation plan may be competitive, your training system's robust, but without a distinctive aligned culture, as you grow, your organization is going to remain vulnerable to just being limited or people leaving. Remember, the goal in network marketing is not only to recruit and to bring on new team members, but to keep those team members. And by having this cultural environment that is well defined, that people can stick to, that they can buy into, that they can believe in, not only is it going to help to build your team, but what you'll find is that as your leaders implement these same strategies, their teams will grow and stick, and see less turnover, which means more profitability for everybody involved. I hope you found value in this training. So if so, subscribe to the channel, share this video with your leadership team, and then drop a comment, okay? My name's Scott, and I will see you in the next video.